Good morning students. I am Pragati, your psychology teacher, and I am taking your first chapter, that is what is psychology. We are on our third part and the chapter is from NCERT book. In previous video we have talked about psychology, what it is, how it is defined, about its important terms, and also the difference of psychology in form of social and cultural psychology, and as well the biological and physical structure of psychology. So now we are taking the next part, that is understanding mind and behavior. As we have done the definition, and definition says that psychology is the study of science that studies the human behavior, overt and covert. So in that, the behavior is a very important term, and how this behavior has been identified, how it has been explained, in all this we have been studying in psychology, as we know. So in this video we are studying that how that behavior work. It works with our mind, our brain, but what is the similarity between both, or what is the difference between both, that we need to know. Both are used for cognitive process, okay, but brain is an individual part and mind is a sub part of brain. Mind cannot be without brain, cannot exist without brain, whereas mind is separate entity. Means entity means a thing, it is a separate thing from brain. Brain is physically present, we can study brain, we can see brain, we can touch it, it have different parts which we study, and all the parts functions at different levels. But mind does not have any physical existence. We cannot touch mind, we cannot study it according to as we study brain. In a complete science we cannot study mind, right? So this is something differentiate, but mind works as we have been doing. I just give you an example. For example, if we've been seeing that a man is playing for a chess, what he is thinking, how is it working, the thinking of his moves is something related to its mind, where the function of cognition is being working on. And what is brain doing? The portion of the brain which allow or tell the body parts to function, to move their hand and pick the thing, that is working of brain, which can be studied, but mind we can't. There are three kind of studies in which we've been telling that how mind is differentiated with brain and what it is. In study 1, it is about a patient whose occipital lobe, that is a part of brain, right? It is in the back of your head and it is used for forming image. Whatever you see from your eyes, that image has been created by the occipital lobe. So in some patient, occipital lobe was removed in brain surgery. What does happen after that? The respondent correctly to locate and configure a visual clue. What does this mean? When the occipital lobe has been removed from the brain, even then, after that also, the respondent means the subject, the patient, okay, in psychology to the patient we say subject, on whom we are doing the experiment. So the subject or the respondent is been correctly locating the location and the place of the thing. For example, I show him a jar, okay, I give him a jar, and now he can touch the jar and understand, because his eyes are working, he can understand this is a jar and its place is on the table, okay. That is related with the working of mind, where his mind is giving him order that this is a jar and it is been used for this purpose to put the things in it. We can store things on it, and it is been placed on table. Okay, but the image of jar is not being formed. The image of jar is not being formed in the brain. As now I say, imagine a plain desk. It has 4 legs. A plain cardboard have 4 legs. It become a table. You say table, right? So what is this? This is your imagination. If I say, for example, I say B-I-S-D. You will fill it B-I-R-D, bird, and then you form an image of bird. For example, most of the time we've been making like this. So this is the image of bird. You quickly get an image. I say peacock. Image will form in your mind. The peacock will look like this. That done by occipital lobe. Okay. So it is a functioning of brain. But here, when this occipital lobe has been removed from the brain, now you cannot make this image. Now you don't know how do bird look like. But when you touch that kind of animal or that kind of thing, you will quickly say that this is a bird, and it flies, it have wings. Okay, now that is something, the response of mind. Understood? In study 2, now how one more example is there. An athlete lost his arm in an accident. What happened? He continued to feel his own arm and its movement. This is known as phantom arm. What does this mean? In this, an athlete has lost his arm in an accident, but still he is feeling like he is having that right arm. For example, he lost his right arm, so he is feeling that now he is having the right arm, and that arm, whenever somebody offer him anything, he tried to put his right hand side in front, because he is a right hander, so he is trying to put his right side in front, but he don't have arm. Okay, so this is the difference, that what his mind is showing him a response, that yes, something is present, that he is not able to accept that you lost your arm. So he is working like he have arm. Okay, but actually he have lost the arm. Okay, that is the working functioning of mind. This is a form of functioning of mind, how mind works. So what we think, cognitive working which is going on in our brain, the chemical reaction, with the chemical reactions, the neurological processing which has been done, that has been done by brain, and the response of that working is known as mind. It is, both are different, but both work with each other. Okay, now coming towards the third study. Before third study, I just want to clear this term, that is phantom arm. What is being seen here, thing is not present, the arm is not present, but he is feeling his own arm, right? Means the thing which is not present, but a person thinks that it is there, is known as phantom. Okay, वहम, जिसे हम कहते हैं वहम होना, वहम होने को हम क्या कहते हैं, phantom. And it is just like ghost. There is, the ghost is not there, but we feel like that there is some kind of energy which we name it as a ghost. Okay, so that is phantom. And phantom arm is, means he is feeling like he is still having his arm, so it is phantom arm. Name it as a phantom arm. Now moving towards third study. A young man with brain injury, after returning from home, Now a person have an injury, that is brain injury. He lost some part of his brain, and now after returning from home, what happened? It claimed that his parents has been replaced or duplicated. Now what is the claim of the patient? That the parents who are there is not his parents. He is duplicate of his original parents. So this is a kind of Fenton. It is also a kind of Fenton thinking, which is being formed by mind, not brain. Brain has lost, brain got an injury. He has been having a problem, due to which he have a duplication problem. He is having an hallucination, illusion that his parents are replaced by the duplicates. He is not accepting his original parents, and he is saying that these are not my original parents, they are duplicates. Okay, so this, what the thinking which has been rising in his brain, in his mind, that is the working of mind. Okay, so because, and that is why it has been arised, because the brain has been injured in the accident. So they are interrelated. This is something, the studies has been done by the psychologists, and with this help of study they told us that brain and mind is difference. Understood how it has been different? And if we need to know any mind capture thoughts, how do mind capture thoughts and the activities of mind, how mind is working, the cognitive working, how the brains, that neurons we have to see, and the thinking process, the thoughts, if we want to check how it is working, we do it by EEG or fMRI. Okay, functional magnetic remote imaging and electroencephalogram. These are two kinds of tests through which it helps to find out the mind activities, how the mind is working. Okay, and we name it as in neurology, also in neuroscience we name it the functioning of brain only, but that is something related with the activities of the mind, thought process. Okay, so this is the understanding how mind is different from brain. Okay, and how this affect our behavior. As we have seen in these three studies, in first study the person finds that image is not being formed in his brain, but he finds that the thing is there and it is this thing and its function is this, that this is mind working. In the second one, he lost his arm, but still he haven't Fenton arm. In third, he due to brain injury, he just refused to take his parents and think that they are not their original parents and they've been replaced by the duplicates. Okay, so this is something about mind and behavior, how mind and brain differentiate and how behavior is dependent upon them. Okay students, so you just take a reading of this. Tomorrow we will talk about the schools of psychology as well as the fields and streams of psychology. I hope you are understanding, and even if you have any problem or any difficulty related to these topics, you can tell me so that I can clear your doubts on Thursday in the Thursday class. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.
You or someone you know may have been diagnosed with a mental health problem, also known as a psychiatric disorder. This video will help you understand how the brain works in mental health and how problems can cause mental illness. Mental health is your ability to handle or cope with stress and enjoy daily life. It includes the way you feel, think, act, and relate to others. Scientists study how certain brain areas affect mental health. For example, the fear area of the brain, called the amygdala, helps you avoid harmful things and escape danger. In addition, the amygdala works with the prefrontal cortex to control your response to fearful and stressful events. The prefrontal cortex also helps you make decisions, solve problems, and recall memories. The anterior cingulate cortex helps you focus on tasks and control emotions. The hippocampus helps make and store new memories. The working units of the brain are cells called neurons, also known as brain cells. Neurons pass messages to each other through electrical impulses. The impulses pass along a part of the neuron called the axon. Here's a closer look at how a message passes from one neuron to another. At the end of the axon, the impulse causes the neuron to release chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These chemical messengers move across a tiny space called a synaptic gap and attach to another neuron. This triggers the neuron to produce its own impulse. In this way, impulses spread across the brain. Problems with this process may result in brain disorders known as mental illnesses. All the causes of mental illness aren't known. However, a number of factors may contribute to it. Some of these factors are a family history of mental illness, which can be passed from parent to child through genes, severe emotional or stressful life events, or a head or brain injury. Other factors may include health problems such as heart disease, problems with other chemicals in the body called hormones, drug abuse and addiction, and an imbalance of chemical messengers in the brain. When there is an imbalance of chemical messengers in the brain, neurons may have trouble passing messages between each other. The most common chemical messenger is glutamate. It increases the chance that an impulse will form in other neurons. People with mental illnesses such as autism, obsessive-compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease, and depression may have problems making or using glutamate. Serotonin, another chemical messenger, helps control mood, hunger, and sleep. For example, people with depression often don't have enough serotonin. Dopamine helps control movement and is involved with feelings of pleasure and addiction. Low dopamine levels, or problems with the brain's ability to use it, may be linked to schizophrenia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and other disorders. An estimated 43.7 million adults in the United States have some type of mental illness. Modern research tools and advanced technology will allow scientists to better understand the brain and how mental illness occurs.